Well, I want to welcome you guys back. My presentation right now is going to be a shorter one, about 45 minutes long. I'm going to be sharing some cool stuff with you. And then after the break, we'll come back. Jacob Hiller is going to come and talk to you guys and tell you the story of how he became an expert at teaching people how to jump, which I'm so excited to have. And then after that, we're going to have a chance to hear from Marcus Lemonis, who is in the building right now. Is that exciting? So I'm excited. And I just want to, first off, thank all you guys. This has been such an amazing event for me personally. And honestly, today was a selfish day for me. I planned today for me. Like, today was like, this is all for me. So I wanted Garrett to come because I wanted to hear his message, and I had a very specific message I wanted to share, and he just nailed it. It was amazing. I wanted Marcus to come because I want to hear from Marcus. Like, today's for me, and you guys all get to hang out with me too, but like, this whole thing's just for me, and I'm like a kid in a candy store today, so I'm just loving this. So this is exciting. Really quick, what I want to do is I want to show you guys a really quick the intro video. How many of you guys have seen the little video we kind of shown throughout the different breaks? I want to show it one more time on the big screen for any of you guys who have missed it. So let's show it really quick. We've got it. This is pretty sweet. Is Ray in the room? Is Ray in the room right now? This is Ray right here. Ray and his team created that video for us as a gift. You guys, give him a round of applause. Him and his team have done some amazing videos for me. If you guys have seen a lot of our animated videos and things like that, the explainer videos that explain ClickFunnels and Actionetics and back, all those things, him and his team are the ones that have done that, and they did that as a gift to us, and I just want to thank him publicly for creating that for us. Thank you so much. All right, so now we're going to get into what I feel is kind of like the capstone of this event for me. We've covered a lot of things, right? We've covered a lot of different things, from personal development things, and from funnel building, and from a whole bunch of stuff. And about 6 or 7 months ago, I wanted to work on a project because it was something that had been going through my head over and over and over again. Like, everyone always asks me, Russell, what's the psychology behind your funnels, and why do you do things, and how do they all work together? And most of us look at a funnel as like a thing, right? Like, here's my book funnel. Someone comes in, they buy the book. There's the upsell, the downsell, and that's my funnel, right? And for me, like, initially, that's how it was. Like, all my funnels were very separate. Like, they were just different things that were kind of happening randomly at different times. But as I started looking at it, like, not only is a sales funnel a funnel, but like your entire business, your entire strategy is a bigger funnel. And I started looking back at what we were doing, the things that we were working on that were working, and I noticed a bigger overarching funnel. And it wasn't just a book funnel or a webinar funnel or a high ticket or a supplement or anything like that. It was a combination of multiple funnels, and it was a process I took customers through. Okay, a lot of times if you offer something to somebody at the wrong time, it doesn't convert, doesn't sell well, right? Like I talked about, I think 2 days ago? I feel like I've been here for like a couple weeks, right? I feel like it's been a long time. A couple days ago we were talking about like if I offer my high ticket thing to someone, like it's a hard thing initially a lot of times because they don't know who I am, they haven't provided any value. But if you offer it at the right time, it's a no-brainer, it's an easy sell. And so looking at like the progression, how things worked, and one morning I was in my car doing my Marketing Your Car podcast, and I started talking about this concept and kind of explaining it, and I was like, I know, it's kind of like funnel stacking. Like I'm stacking funnels together to actually build a bigger funnel that happens over a period of time, not just over 5-minute time and someone comes to your webpage, the time they leave, like a funnel that overarches over a month, 2 months, 3 months, or beyond. And I kind of said that on this podcast, and I got more excited. I'm like, this is really cool. Like I want to, I kind of had different funnels and things were kind of connected, but there was never like a real strategy behind it outside of just like, someone's going to buy this, and eventually someday they'll find out about this, and someday they'll find out about this, and that's kind of how it was. And so I started coming back to the drawing board and thinking, okay, strategically, like, like this makes the most sense if I take them through a process. Like, what's that process look like, and what's the smartest way to do it, and how does that work? And so I spent the next couple months kind of building that out and really connecting things and making them just kind of work together as a whole, which was really exciting for me. And then I decided, like, I'm gonna create, like, I'm gonna write out this whole process. And so I spent the next, I don't know, way too long, writing kind of like a book. And I called the book Funnel Stacking, the 3 core funnels. And not only the 3 funnels, but how they all work together. The other interesting thing that I noticed while we were doing this process is that we kind of we took all of our income from all our different funnels. We found out that about 98% of our income came from 3 core funnels, and it was these 3. And so I thought, man, we needed focusing more here because that's where the majority of our profits have come from. And so that's kind of the title of this presentation. I did create a book that is done, that's in the shipping warehouse. And do you guys all get that postcard on your thing today about Funnel University? So Funnel University is the continuity program that's going live next week. When you sign up for it, you get a free trial. We ship you a copy of the book. So next week, you guys can all get a copy of the book. Even if you just sign up and then cancel the next day, we'll still ship you out the book. But that's kind of the game plan. It's kind of like the curriculum for Funnel University. So the book's awesome. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to go through the strategy and all the numbers and the stats and everything that are inside the book so you guys can understand how they all weave together and what happens first and second and why we do the sequences and how we do them, and it's going to be amazing. And like I said, next week when we do launch this, if you guys get the book, you'll have it and you'll have it all documented, and it'll be awesome. So that is the game plan. All right, so if you look at the 3 funnels, hopefully this is working. The 3 core funnels that we looked at were about 98% of our income came from these 3 funnels, from a tripwire funnel, from a webinar funnel, and from a high-ticket funnel, okay? Now, if you've read the .com Secrets book, one thing I talk a lot about is traffic temperature, right? We start out with cold traffic, we have warm traffic, and we have hot traffic. Okay, hot traffic, these are people who are obsessed with you. They know you, they love you. Pretty much anything you offer them, they're probably going to buy. How many of you guys would pretty much buy anything that I offered you? Thank you, that is awesome. Well, what do you guys want to buy? We could create something right now. I'm up for it, just kidding. So warm traffic's like the easiest, right? But it's hard to scale a business on warm traffic. So then you move back to warm traffic. Now, warm traffic is people who are typically in your market, in your industry, like they are aware of what's happening, but they may not know you yet, okay? So your warm traffic is a little bit different. So typically, I consider Facebook warm traffic, right? If I'm targeting Tony Robbins fans or Garrett's fans or other people's fans, they may not know who I am, but they understand the market. So I can speak to them in a way and be like, hey, you want funnels? Sweet. You know what a funnel is? Come on in. Right? It's really easy. And then the last step is to go out to cold traffic. Now, cold traffic are people who have no idea who you are. Okay, they don't know who you are. They're the people at the mall who are walking around and they're kind of doing some things. Now, in our company, we have a test to find out if the things that we're creating, if they will convert to cold traffic. We call this the food court test. Okay, so imagine yourself, you walk into the food court at the mall, and you see all these people, right? They're eating at McDonald's and KFC and Panda Express, and they're all eating this food, right? So you walk in the food court, you look around, and you're trying to see, okay, is anyone going to want my product? So we do, imagine pulling out a stool and standing up on it on top of your lungs, screaming out, who here wants to learn how to make funnels? Now, if anybody in the food court stands up, that means you've got an offer that will convert to cold traffic. Okay, how many people think that if I yelled out about funnels in the food court, anybody would even pay attention to what I was talking about?
Like funnel cakes.
Yeah, they probably think I want funnel cakes, right? Yeah. They have no idea. And so the problem is a lot of you guys are creating offers. You're creating things with verbs that your warm audience will understand, but cold traffic will never understand just because the words you use are wrong. Okay? So if the food court test is, for example, say I walk in the food court, I stand on a chair and say, who here wants to get my free book about how to make money on the internet? A lot of the people in the food court are like, yeah, I want a free book. I want to make money on the internet. Right? It's different. So that's kind of how hot to warm to cold traffic works, right? Now, ideally, when we start scaling a business, we want to go after cold traffic, and someone comes in, and then we move them from being a cold person to, through the process of them buying and consuming what we are selling, they start warming up to us, they become warm, and eventually they become hot. So in my mind, that's how things kind of work, okay? If you think back about how you guys got introduced to ClickFunnels, all of you guys started at different paths, right? Some of you guys came in, you were a cold audience, and we had to convince you that this funnel thing was actually really cool, right? Some of you guys were like, I love funnels, but I use this crappy thing called lead pages all the time, and we're gluing together pages. It's horrible, right? And I was like, we got a better mousetrap. And you're like, sweet, I'm in. And some of you guys have been following me for years, and you're like, Russell's got a new thing, I'm in. And it was easy, right? And so think about, like, in your journey, you guys all came at different things, and the messaging was different at each of these steps. because you guys wouldn't have responded to different things. Does that make sense? And so for me, I'm looking at these 3 funnels, and I'm taking somebody typically from cold to warm to hot through this process. So those are the 3 funnels. So I'm going to break down each of these 3 funnels that we use, show you guys some examples, and then how we kind of glue these 3 things together when we do our funnel stacking. So funnel number 1, we call a tripwire funnel. Now, the example I'm going to be showing you guys is the .com Secrets book funnel. This is kind of what it looks like sketched out, except for in the .com Secrets book launch funnel, we did not have a downsell, but I added it here because there's a cool strategy I'll show you that does work with downsells. I didn't do it for this offer, but you can. Okay, so that's kind of what the overarching thing looks like. So I'm going to break down page by page by page. So page number 1 is this page right here, which is really simple and easy to create in ClickFunnels. It takes like 3 seconds, right? So that is the first page in the book funnel. People are coming here, and look, notice the offer. It's very cold traffic, okay? And it's not super cold. .com Secrets book wasn't meant to go to the masses. My next book that's coming out will be meant for the masses, and you'll notice the languaging is even more mass appeal. But for the most part, I'm trying to attract more people into the world, right? So they come through and they get the book. Now, here are some of the numbers I pulled when I was writing the actual book that came through. So at the time when I pulled this, we had 200,000 people had hit that landing page. From that, 35,000 had put in their name and entire shipping address. Okay? From that, we had 27,636 people who actually filled out the second step, which is putting in your credit card and ordering. And so we had, what's that? A 14% conversion rate from traffic to actual credit cards. Okay, so those are some numbers. A lot of people, in fact, like Onyx and Golf, for example, he was launching a new book offer 2 or 3 months ago, and he's like freaking out, like, I have no idea if my numbers are good or bad. Am I doing, like, am I close? Am I wrong? Like, where am I at? So this I want to show you guys is like, this is kind of the framework. Like, if you can get your conversions close to that, you're probably doing right. If they're lower, you should probably fix some things. If they're higher, you should call me and tell me what you did so I can copy you. I mean, funnel hack you. Okay? Because I want to know. But this is like a baseline of like, this is kind of where the numbers could and should actually be at. Okay, so that's step number 1 is the actual free offer, right? Step number 2 now is the order form bump. Now this is something that we discovered this, probably 8 or 9 years ago. Back in the day, we had, before ClickFunnels, back when we were hand coding all of our pages and our shopping carts, and it was a nightmare, we had this thing that we were selling, and it was a product, and we had a physical version and a digital version. And I'm the kind of person that loves physical things. How many of you guys love buying physical products, books and CDs and DVDs, right? How many of you guys would rather just have the digital so you can put it on your Kindle or your iPhone? Yeah, about half and half, interesting. So for me, like, I only want physical things. The problem that sucks about physical things is you gotta print them, you gotta ship them, you gotta store them, like all these extra costs. And so I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this offer where it's like, it's basically get the digital version for like, I can't remember what it was, $97. But if someone does want the actual physical version, like me, like I would pay an extra, whatever, 50, 100, whatever that is for the physical, I would pay that just because I would rather have that. So we made this little thing, and at the time we called it an order form bump. Like, let's make this bump thing where it just says, hey, if you want this thing, click on this button here, and we'll add a physical version to your order. So we added this on the order form, and again, this is 7 or 8 years ago, and we started doing traffic through, and we moved this thing around. Initially, we had it at the very top. And it didn't convert very well at all. It did horrible. I'm like, but I conceptually I liked it. I'm like, well, let's move it. So we moved it around. And eventually we moved it between where the credit card information happens and above the order button. And as soon as we did that, it was like magic. People came, the first thing is to put in their credit card, so they've already made a commitment, and then they see this offer, and it's like, oh, do you want to add this thing? Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. Do you want to add fries and a Coke, right? Yes, I'll do that. And it's like a no-brainer offer, and you click on it. And when we first started doing that, it was about 65% of the people were taking that bump, which dramatically increased our revenues. Right now, we probably ran this campaign for ourselves or for friends and things like that at least 20 different times. And right now, our conversion rate on this style next page, sorry. I forget I can see the next slides and you guys can't. So the conversion rates on this little order form bump right now, on the low end are about 22%, on the high end are about 47% or more. Like, that's kind of where it's at. And this is just like free money. Especially doing like a free plus shipping offer, it's kind of scary because like you're losing money on every offer, right? This order form bump typically recoups all of your costs. If you're getting 1 out of 3 people to buy that, it's the equivalent of selling, selling a product. So you make your money back really, really quick. I have a testimonial. Is Dean in the room? I think I saw Dean. Okay, I just put your screenshot from Facebook. I'm going to read this because I think this is awesome. So he says, hey guys, just sharing an update from our free plus shipping offer and a few lessons I've already learned that may help you guys. So first off, some numbers. After nearly 900 visitors, we're holding a 12% conversion rate, so he's pretty close to where I was at. The people on trial and people, this is blurry on the screen, sorry. Anyway, he goes on down. Then down here it says, the biggest lesson of all, and I never would have done this, is an order form bump. Holy crap, LOL. I'm guessing Russell will say, I told you so, haha. So initially I didn't have one. I decided I wanted one. So all I did is remove a bonus that I was giving with the $197 upsell, made it the $17 order bump. Right now it's converting at 26%. It's like free money. Anyway, so it keeps going on from there. But you guys see the power of that? Like, when you added that, did it not completely transform everything, right? Everything. All of a sudden, your free plus shipping offers are making you money before you ever even get to the upsell. Okay, now I'm going to walk you guys through this offer because I told you guys before, I think yesterday, the day before, that right now for every free book we give away, we make $32 immediately during the first initial funnel. So this is kind of where the numbers break down. Okay, from this right here, from the shipping costs, we made $219,000 from this campaign at that time. In the order form bump, we made $286,000. Total of $506,000. So right at this point in the fund right now, we'd already made $18.31 for every free book we gave away. Is that amazing? Okay, thank you. We could stop right there and I could start going to Facebook and spend up to $18 to acquire a customer and be at break even. Okay, but we're going to keep going, but that's just the beginning of it. Okay, when you get, and I haven't talked a lot about this, but like one of our goals in our Ignite Inner Circle programs is like, you need to create a break-even funnel where you can break even. Because if you can break even, like people all the time, like, oh, Russell, I ran the webinar and I didn't make any money. I'm like, you didn't? Did you lose money? No, like I broke even. Like, dude, that's a huge success. You broke even. You got a customer for free. Like, that's the whole goal. If you have a break-even funnel, that's amazing. Right now, we spend about $12 on Facebook for one of our free plus shipping offers. Like right now, before they've even passed that, I've already more than broke even. Anything else that happens from this point forward to that customer is free money. Okay, it's one of the most amazing things. Like the order form bumps, if you guys aren't using them, like you should start using them. They just will make you free money all day long. All right, so the next thing, now upsell number one. So after they bought the free book, now we got to offer them the next thing. Now this is the mistake that I made over and over and over again as I've critiqued some of your guys' businesses, something that consistently happens. The problem that we have is we offer something amazing, right? And then your upsell is more of that same thing. Okay, logically it makes sense. The first time I learned this, we had our split testing book, 108 Proven Split Test Winners. We were selling that thing. I thought, man, people who buy a book about split testing, they must love split testing, right? So I'm going to have an upsell for $200 and I'm going to get all these split testing interviews and audios and courses and software and all this split testing stuff. Like logically it makes sense, right? This guy's interested in split testing. He should buy more split testing. Okay, we ran that offer. I rebuilt the funnel 7 times, could not get that offer to convert. We wrote the scripts, we wrote the pitch. I'm like, why is this not working? You told me you want split testing stuff. Why are you not giving me money for more split testing stuff, right? There was this disconnect. And one day I had a friend, his name's Tim Irway, some of you guys may know him. He went through, he bought my book funnel, and then he called me up. He's like, hey man, bought your book, super excited. I bet you $50 your upsell sucks. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, there's no way it's converting. I'm like, whatever, dude, it's converting, it's awesome. He's like, I guarantee it's not. What are the numbers? Show me the numbers. I was like, all right, man, this is the deal. It's not converting at all. We've rebuilt it 7 times, and I have no idea why. It's really embarrassing because this is a book about split testing and how we're really good at converting things, and I can't get the upsell to convert. Like, please don't tell anybody because it's really embarrassing. And he laughs. He said, this is the reason, dude. He's like, think about this. Okay, let's say you are a little bit overweight and you want to lose weight, and you see an ad that says, lose weight, get a six-pack. You click here, and you buy this book about how to get a six-pack. He's like, even though you don't have a six-pack yet, the second you purchase that thing, you take your credit card out and you buy it, in your mind, you're like, sweet, I've lost weight. It's done. I had an itch and it's been scratched, like it's taken care of. So if your upsell is like, hey man, you got the book, it's coming to you, but if you really want to learn how to lose weight, I've got this really cool diet program you can do. And you're like, but I thought we just took care of that. Like I solved that. I gave you money, I solved that problem. It is gone. Okay? He said, you have to understand that as soon as someone gives you money, in their mind, the problem has been solved. And if you offer them the same thing, they're not going to buy. This was a huge breakthrough for me. He said, you got to sell the next thing. He's like, when they purchase this thing, this itch has been scratched, what's the next logical thing that they need? What holes, what things are opened up because they now have this? Okay, as soon as you buy this book about split testing, now you can convert well, but the thing that you need next is you need traffic. So I changed my offer from more split testing to traffic, and it exploded. Okay? From weight loss, if you're selling the weight loss product, you look at Venus Factor, look at the good ones, they're looking at the next thing. You bought the weight loss thing. Now what do you need? You need exercise plans. You need recipes. You need, what's the next thing you need? So I'm always thinking about this now with my sales processes. What's the next thing that somebody needs? Okay, so for the .com Secrets book launch, this is the upsell page. It's very simple. The video also is very short. With upsells, the other thing you have to understand is your goal with an upsell is not to try to sell somebody on this concept. They already bought into the concept. This is why free plus shipping offers are one of my favorite things in the world, because you come to this thing, right, and you're like, oh, there's this book, like it's just free, it's easy, like, and in your mind you're like, hey, I'm buying into this concept enough that I'm going to pull my credit card out, right? So you got them to say the first yes. The first yes is the hardest. Okay, they've already bought into the concept. So the upsell video for me is usually about 2 or 3 minutes long, and all it's saying is, thank you so much for buying the book. Now, after you've got this book, this is the next thing you need. I don't sell it, I don't pitch it hard, I just kind of tell them, here's the next thing, and then we offer it to them at a special price. Okay, and so it's not a resell you and tell you a big story about why this is amazing, everything else. It's just explaining that now that you've got this is the next thing you need, and they're very short and very easy videos. So there's the upsell page. Now, some of the numbers on this campaign, the price for this offer was $197. From that, we had 28,000 visitors came through. We had 1,274 people who bought it, so about 4% conversion rate. So for me, that's a lower conversion rate, but the dollar amount was higher. And so if you look at the actual numbers from all said and done, we were at $18.31 prior. Total revenue from upsell number 1 did $506,000. $250,000, sorry. Which basically ended up bringing up our cost or our profit per book up to $27.39. Okay, so that's the number. So yeah, OTO1. So we made $250,000 from the first upsell. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Sorry, this screen's a little more blurry than it should be. All right. So there it is. Now in this offer, in this funnel, I didn't do a downsell, but this is where I would do a downsell. Downsells are really nice if you have a higher price thing and people aren't able to buy it because of the price. And so this is what my downsell pages look like. And basically it's really simple. There's a video of me saying, look, if you didn't just buy that last offer I made you, there's only one of 2 reasons. There's only one logical reason, and that's that you can't afford it. Because this is so good. I know you want it. I know you need it. So if you didn't buy it, the only logical reason is you can't afford it right now. So because of that, I'm going to give you a really cool thing. I'm going to give you a payment plan. This is how the payment plan works. And you kind of just take one more shot at it. And we get huge conversion rates typically on these. And I usually give both options because for some reason, even though people will say no the first offer, the second offer, they see the payment plan and then they're like, I'll just pay for it up front. So on the second page, we get tons of people who buy both of the different options. So I usually have both options on the downsell page. So that's the downsell page. I don't have numbers because we didn't have one in this campaign. But if any of you guys have an upsell, it's higher ticket. Drop selling, payment plan, I think is the best way to go. All right. Because I've seen people, and I hate this, people are like, okay, you said no to this thing at $197. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you everything, but I'm going to take the bonuses away, and it'll be $97. And that just makes me feel dirty. I don't like that at all. So I just like offering payment plans on downsells. All right. Now in this funnel, we had a second upsell, which again, I came back to the same upsell concept before. What's the next thing somebody needs? They just bought this. What's the next thing they need? Okay, so our second upsell for us was our sales training, which looks very similar. Same kind of thing. I thank them for the thing they just bought. Here's the sales training. Our numbers on that, 24,000 people hit this page with 439 purchases, 2% conversion rate. When all is said and done, we made $130,000 from that offer, and now we're up to $32.10 in total profit from every single book that we sold so far in this funnel. Isn't that exciting? When you're making $30 for a book, guess what you can do? You can spend up to $30 on Facebook or on Google or on YouTube or on wherever. You can give affiliates. In fact, when we did this launch initially, we were paying affiliates $20 for a free book they give away. And we still made money on the front end. It was crazy. And affiliates went nuts for that, okay? And so there's cool things you can do. One of the things that most people that I talk to don't know, I always ask them, well, what's your average cart value? Okay, this metric is the most important for your front-end funnels, average cart value. Okay, what that means is on average, everyone that goes through this, what is the average amount of money you collect? So my average cart value is $32.10. Okay, if you don't know the average cart value for your front-end funnels yet, that's a metric you need to understand because that is what dictates how much money you can spend on advertising. Does that make sense? Okay, so if you don't know that number yet, that's the key metric. Go figure that out. Go through the last month, 6 weeks, whatever it is of sales, do some data, figure it out. And basically all it is taking all of your sales that came through, all the money collected, dividing by how many numbers of the front end you sold, and that gives you your average cart value. This is coming from a mathematician. You guys impressed? Okay. And as soon as you have the average cart value, it opens up to the whole world because now you go to every single source and say, I can spend up to $32.10 to acquire a customer and still be at break even. Some of you guys maybe feel kind of risky. We back in the day, we We were selling free CDs for $4.95 shipping and handling. We had no upsells on the back end or anything, but we were paying $38 for every free CD we sold because we knew after that we'd call people and sell them coaching on the end. So we were spending 4 or 5 times as much money to sell these things as we were making. So this is, if you get to break even, like for me, break even is like insane. So I can spend $32, still break even, and I got a customer. Okay, but until you know your average cart value on your front end funnel, you're just guessing and you're nervous. Like I want to try YouTube ads, but I don't know what I can spend, and I'm freaking out. And how much should I budget? Like you don't need to worry about that stuff. Just go and try the ads. If you can acquire a customer for under your average cart value, just run it all day long for as long as you want. Okay, that metric will set you free, you guys. All right, so there you go. Now, after someone's bought the book, then we take them to our offer wall. This is something we learned from some of the. Oh, no, I'm not going to say it. Some of my friends in the less ethical part of the world. There's some, anyway, I'll leave it there. Okay, so the offer wall at the end is like, thank you so much for buying my book. You guys are amazing. We're going to ship it out to you. Download down below. You can log on the membership site, things like that. And then underneath that, I just put a whole bunch of links to other stuff I sell. Okay, this is my offer wall, all these things down here. I'm like, oh, you want a free t-shirt? Oh, you want a free thing? Oh, you want a free thing? Because what do I have right now? I've got active buyers, people who's bought something. Okay, now there's something really interesting about buyers. People who buy will continue to buy until one of two things happens. Number one is you offend them, or number two, you quit selling them things, okay? Like that's it. I'm a buyer. I keep buying. I am obsessed. I buy everything that I can in the markets I'm excited for. And your people are the same way. They just bought your free book, your free thing. They're freaking out. And they're like, I get another free book? I get a free webinar script? Like they will keep buying. So do not take that opportunity away from them. They want to give you money. Okay? If they don't get it from you, they're going to go to someone else. They're going to get the book. They'll be done. They're going to be bored out of their mind, back on Facebook looking for something else to buy, and your competitors will get their money. So you have an offer wall. I didn't track the actual metrics from this. I do know that during this campaign we sold, I think 2,300 of the perfect webinar scripts, about 1,500 of the 108 split test books, and we added about 500 or 600 people to our continuity program. So a lot more revenue that I didn't even track came back to that front end funnel just by having an offer wall. Here's other stuff you can buy from me. It's just easy, right? Like it's not scary. It's awesome. Okay, there's an offer wall. Okay, some of you guys think this is cool, Russell, but what if I don't have a book? Writing a book is so hard. That's true. Writing a book is really hard for those who have never done it before. So you don't have a book. That's okay. There's other ways you can do this. So for those who don't have a book, the concept I need you guys to understand, if you understand this, it becomes really easy. Okay, this is from chapter 1 in the .com Secrets book. It's a concept I call the secret formula. The secret formula is this. Okay, the first step in launching a business, you got to figure out who it is that you want to sell things to. Who do you want to attract? Who do you want to be your dream clients? Okay, that's number one. Number two question is, where do these people congregate? What Facebook groups are they on? What email lists are they on? What blogs are they reading? Like, where do these guys actually congregate? And the third step here is the bait. This is the key here. What's the bait that's going to get those people to raise their hands? Okay? So you have to think about that. So who's your dream client? Where are they at? And what's the bait you're going to use to get them? And the results, the ascension through the funnels is the result. Okay, so the key here is understanding the bait. So for your audience, like, what is the thing that gets them excited? Okay, how many of you guys got excited by that funnel graffiti we put in your bag on 2 days ago? Is that cool? I know that funnel graffiti is bait for people who like to build funnels, okay? So I build bait based on what I know my audience would like. Okay, that'll become a free plus shipping offer. We're going to go and use that as bait to get people in. My book is bait. Tons of things like that. A couple examples. Trey Llewellyn, who spoke here last year, one of the top ClickFunnels members right now, they are selling a gun membership site, right? And so their bait is gun targets. People who like gun targets like to buy gun stuff, right? I assume. Okay. We just started filming a documentary last week of his kind of journey. We were out there offices. These guys are shipping like 2,000 to 3,000 of these things a day. And they're just shipping targets and gun oil and all these crazy gun things. And people are coming in, buying all this free stuff. They join the membership sites. And in the last 12 months since he joined ClickFunnels, they built a list of over 400,000 buyers of people moving through his tripwire. Insane. He went from him and his brother sitting in a hotel room in his extra bedroom when he watched the ClickFunnels webinar, bought the thing, and now they've got a huge office, a team of like 50 or 60 people. They're shipping like crazy. It was all off of this, figuring out who's his dream client and what's the bait that gets these guys excited. You make those two things go together, it's pretty easy, right? So Trey Llewellyn's tripwires. Ryan and Perry Belcher and Ryan Dice, they own a custom suit company where they make custom Hong Kong suits, right? So that is your dream client, is someone who's wearing a suit. Now, what do you know about people who like to wear suits? They like to wear nice shirts probably, right? People wear nice shirts, what do they need? They need cufflinks, right? So they say, look, my dream client, because the thing is like, how many of you guys wear cufflinks and you like it? Really? Okay, so for me, I cannot stand cufflinks. I got 2 of those French shirts. They're so weird. They pinch together, and you put those weird things in, then everywhere you go, like, you see these, like, weird things on your... I cannot stand cufflinks, right? I also don't like wearing suits, okay? I have not worn a suit since 2001, because I hate those little shoulder pad things in the suits. I get dry, and I got big lats, so every time I move, it's like I feel like I'm wearing cardboard. I hate suits, okay? So for me, I'm gonna see this. I don't have French cuff shirts. I'm not gonna get a suit. It repels people who are not your dream clients, but all you dudes out there who wear nice suits and like to dress nice and have the shirts, you see this, you're gonna buy. And the people who buy this are gonna buy the suits, they're gonna buy the shirts, they're gonna buy everything else they have, right? So this is bait for their dream client. So think about your business, like what kind of bait can you create? This is another cool thing. Perry talked last year about their offer Survival Life. They give away these free credit card knives. They buy them in China for 30 cents a piece. They built a list of over 1 million buyers selling these things, and they are killing it. Same thing, like they figure out like what does your dream client want? What's the bait that gets them excited? And that becomes this front end thing. Okay, so it does not have to be it. In fact, right now, guess what my #1 tripwire offer is of all the things we're selling? And it was way easier to create than the book, okay? It's the perfect webinar. It's 1 piece of paper. That's all it is. And there's a DVD that goes with it. But it turns out nobody actually watches the DVD. They just throw it away. And they take the paper and then they watch the online version. And that's it. So that's our best-selling thing. It's a piece of paper and a CD, okay? And it's just simple. So what is the bait that your people would want? What gets them excited? Okay, that's the question you got to start asking yourself. Like, what would you be where you're scrolling through Facebook, you're sitting here at night in bed, bored out of your mind, you're scrolling through, what would make you stop and be like, whoa, okay, hold on, I got to get to my desktop. Let me click on the link and email it to me so I can go buy that thing right now because I don't want it to disappear out of my newsfeed. Okay, it's probably happened to most of you guys at least once. That's what you got to be thinking, like, what is the thing that when I'm flipping through Facebook is going to make me stop, get out of my bed, and turn my computer on so I can buy this thing? Now, some of you guys probably buy on the phone. I don't know how to do that, but I would just go and get the desktop on. Okay, so there you go. All right, so that's funnel #1, okay? Now we transition over to the second funnel in my sequence, which is my webinar funnel, okay? So we're moving from Tripwire, and we're sending people up now to the webinar funnel. So the way it works for me is after somebody's gotten my book, we have about a 2-week period of time where we're trying to, train, educate, and just give cool stuff related to the book, because I'm waiting for the book to be shipped to somebody. One thing we found back in the day when we had a big, huge call center is someone ordered a free CD, and then we called them and sold them coaching. Before that free CD showed up, it was horrible. Nobody would buy. Why? They got their itch scratched. I just bought this thing. Like I already got it. Like I should be fine. Like why are you trying to sell me something new? Like that problem has been solved. The CD's in the mail. It's going to be here any day now, right? But if we waited till the CD got to them and it sat on the desk for a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we called them, guess what we could say? Have you watched the CD yet? No, it's been sitting on my shelf for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, okay, you really need help. And then we can get them coaching, right? So it's all about kind of timing here. So what we do is we typically, after someone goes through the Tripwire funnel, we're waiting to get that thing shipped to them so they have access to it, so they can get it, they can flip through it, they can get excited by it, and then we offer them the next thing. This is when we start the ascension process, okay? It's about two to 2.5 weeks later, we move them to Actionetics from action sequence #1. They get dumped now to action sequence #2, which now puts them into our webinar funnel, okay? Webinar funnel looks kind of like this. And we have a couple of versions. We do these live, like I said, usually once a week. And so this kind of sequence here, we also have an automated one that happens more in the funnels because it's harder to make sure my sequence is right when I'm dropping people all the time. So anyway, you can do automated, regular, but this is kind of the overall sequence of the perfect webinar. I'm going to break down each of these pages, okay? So #1 is the registration page. So here's my registration page. How many of you guys saw this page at least once? How many of you guys looked at that picture and you're like, what is Russell doing? It's so weird. Like he's got his fingers, it's this weird color, and it's just like, he's holding a website, I think, or what is that? Is that weird? Okay. And then you got this headline, like, my weird niche funnel is currently making me $17,947 per day. Like, what is he talking about? Like, this is just weird, right? Okay, these are the big secrets I found about registration pages. First off, the only thing that matters is this, curiosity. Okay? If people are curious and they cannot figure out what in the world is happening, 2 things will happen. First off, they will register. And second off, and more important, they will actually show up. Okay? If I'm like, hey, free webinar about how to build a cool sales funnel, they're going to be like, I think I know what that is. They're just going to show some things and show me how to build a funnel. If they can figure it out by reading it in their head, they may register, but they're definitely not going to show up. So if you have I got a 3% show up rate, it's because they're not curious enough. You read this, you're like, what in a weird niche funnel? Like, what niche is it? Like, why do you say it's weird? Like, what's he selling? He's making 17 grand a day? Like, how's that even possible? And I can ethically knock it off. Like, how do you ethically knock something off in 10 minutes? I have no idea what he's talking about. That thing in his hand is weird. He's doing this weird, hang loose sign. I got to figure out, what this is, right? Curiosity is the key, you guys. It's true on squeeze pages, true on registration pages. The more curious they are, the more likely they are to come in. Okay, so curiosity is key. Second off, don't do video on your webinar registration page. I have yet to see any test that I've ever run where video actually won. I've tried hard. I think I'm pretty good at videos too. But I think videos you give away too much. And people sit there and they're thinking you want someone to grab them and just be pure, raw curiosity. That's it. So I'm going to do it again, all capital letters. Curiosity is the secret, you guys. Get the curiosity, okay? Here's the numbers on the webinar registration. We talked about these, I think, on Monday too. So you're looking for something, if you're driving paid ads, $3 per registrant, somewhere there. We're looking for 1,000 registrants per week. And we went through this before, so I'll go kind of fast on this. $3,000 ad spend, you got 25% of the people to show up on the webinar, 10% close rate, $1,000. Then you do the replays afterwards, and you follow up, and that's kind of the numbers. So that's the numbers if you're driving directly into the webinar funnel. Like I said, for this funnel stacking, though, all the people who buy my book after 2 weeks are being pushed into this. And so the cool thing is that there's no cost associated with any of this, right? Because we're going through this, because we've already broke even on the front end funnel. Everyone coming through is free. So if we get these similar kind of numbers, that $50,000 in sales is pure profit, which is even better. Okay. Thank you page after they register for the webinar. At this point, you have a chance to thank them for registering for the webinar, and then you need to make them an offer. This is called a self-liquidating offer. The goal of this offer is to recoup your ad spend. So if you're spending $3 to $5 per registrant, you can and should be able to make $3 to $5 on the thank you page. So that way you make you break even before the webinar even happens if you're driving leads directly here. Okay, when we launched ClickFunnels, we put this little page, this little button that said, hey, before the webinar starts, you should go get your free ClickFunnels account so you can check it out. So when you show up at the webinar, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, and I looked, after we had been live for a year, I pulled these stats. From that, we had over 15,000 people take the free trial from the thank you page. From that, 4,500 people were still active at the time. That's $450,000 a month that we are currently making from that little button right there after somebody registered, okay? So it's worth it. If you've got a membership site, put your trial there. If you've got a book offer, put it there. If you've got whatever you get, something there. And it's got to be key. It's not something usually typically expensive. It's usually a low-ticket thing that I look at as like a homework assignment, right? Before you come on the webinar, buy my $17 ebook and go read this so that when you show up on the webinar, everything makes more sense. Okay? It's like a faster, here's my homework, go and do it. All right? Okay, so there's the webinar. Next step in the funnel is indoctrination pages. So after somebody registers for my webinar, you notice these little squares down here? This is my indoctrination. This is things I'm doing between the time they register and the time they show up. Okay, anything I can do to get them more excited is big. And so we have an indoctrination campaign. So if you look at this right here, I send them email, it looks kind of like this. If you notice, nowadays all my emails always have a picture with the play button in the middle of it. For whatever reason, we get tons of, people just click on those more than anything else. So every email we have that. So I recommend having in your email a picture with a big play button on it. And they click on that, it takes them over to a video. And if you notice at the top, this is kind of like a little mini product launch sequence. Okay, I've got 4 videos across the top, and they're getting each of these videos, one each day, getting them prepared for the webinar and teaching them something about that and getting them fired up and excited to actually show up. Okay, I'm always looking for how can I increase show-up rate, and this is one of the biggest things is through the indoctrination campaign. So day number 1, they get an email about this. Day number 2, they get a different email with a video. Day number 3, they get a video. So by the time they show up on the webinar, they're going crazy. They're so excited, right? Because we've been indoctrinating and getting them excited. All right, then the live event happens. One last pitch for the perfect webinar. Just do the perfect webinar pitch. I don't have time to go over that today, but it's magic. It works. You guys get it for free, Perfect Webinar Secrets, so go get that if you don't have it yet. And that's what you do. You do the webinar pitch on your webinar day. A big key is you got to create a really good offer. I'm not going to go to that today, but you create a really good offer, and then you do the pitch. So here's some numbers. So let's see. Oh yeah, cash. Remember I put it here. So on a webinar, everyone always asks me, what should I be closing at? Like, what's a good closing rate, a bad closing rate? So the way that I judge closing rate, right? So a bunch of people register for the webinar, some people show up. I go through the perfect webinar. When I transition from the content to the pitch, when I'm about to start the stack, I always stop and I look at the number. I look at how many people are currently on right now, and I write that number on a piece of paper, and that's what I'm basing my closing stats on. How many people are on the webinar when I transition to the close? Okay, now the way we look at it is if you were at about a 5% close rate, so if you've got 100 people who are live when you transition to close and you get 5% close rate, that's a good webinar. Okay? You can make good money with that. It's something you can run profitably, and you'll probably have a pretty good business out of there. If you get to 10% close rate, so you get 100 people, you're going to sell 10 people, that's $1 million a year webinar at least. Okay? If you get to 15%, you're looking at a $10 million webinar or more. Okay? Those are kind of the stats numbers that I've looked at over the last few years doing this. And so that's kind of a metric to look by. You do a webinar, look which percentage, I'm only at 5. What can I do to get it to 8, to get it to 10? And from 10, how do I get to 12 and kind of go up from there? Okay? All right. So after the webinar happens, then we need to come back and focus on urgency and scarcity, the big two keys we talked about yesterday a lot. These are the emails that kind of go out talking about urgency and scarcity. It's kind of hard to see. You guys have them in your handout, so you kind of see them a little bit there. We're pushing them then to a replay page. This is what my replay page looks like here. In the replay, they're able to comment, make questions, things like that. After they watch the replay, then the next set of emails, we're focusing on other things. So like we give them, we had someone transcribe our entire webinar and kind of add the slides back in, and we give them the cliff notes of the webinar so that they can read it. Some people will never watch the webinar, but tons of people will print out, and actually, we have people literally will print out a 100-page transcript of the webinar, and they will read the entire thing. Now, guess what somebody does after they read a 100-page transcript of your webinar? They give you money, okay? They're going to sit there and read 100 pages, and people do all day long. It's one of the biggest things I learned from Jay Boyer at last year's event was this concept. So we copied it, we modeled it, and it's been one of the biggest things to increase conversion rate on the post-webinar sequences. We push in a page where they have the replay plus a link to download the Cliff Notes, and Cliff Notes are just a PDF that look kind of like that. And then we push urgency and scarcity. So we get closer to the ending date. So for us, usually it's Sunday at midnight, we close out sales. So Sunday, there's going to be 3 emails coming out in the morning, day, and night, basically saying, today's the last day, you got 12 hours left, you got 3 hours left, and that last 3-hour left webinar email is where you make most of the sales. It's crazy. This is a webinar we did last week. Notice the webinar day we hit, I think we had $130,000 on the webinar day, and then the day when the cart closed, we had $117,000. So if you structure that sequencing right, that's what happens. You kill on the webinar, and then the last day you'll make just as much as you did the first day, and in the middle you make a bunch of money as well. So that's kind of what we're looking at typically from following that webinar sequence. Okay, webinar's over, you sold $1,000 thing, they're getting into the process. Now from here, typically what I do is I wait a little bit longer, okay? Usually in my webinars, I've got a 6-week training course, and I want them to go through that 6-week training course. If I introduce my next funnel too early, in the middle of the course, they're going to be confused, they're going to want a refund, they're going to, like, all these things happen, right? So I wait till they've kind of consumed the content from what they bought here. About 6 weeks later, we introduce the high-ticket funnel, and we do it through a whole bunch of things, okay? This is what the high-ticket funnel kind of looks like. First page is either case study or third-party result. Second page is our desire amplifier, and third page is homework and connection. I'll walk through these real quick. So a couple things. First off, like, how do people find your high-ticket program? So we have in the email sequence. I also know that some people are hyperactive buyers. Some of you guys came into my world, and within like 15 minutes, you gave me $25,000. How many of you guys is that? We got all the amazing people in the front row, okay? And so we don't want to make those people wait 6 weeks because a lot of these guys want it now, right? So on the thank you page of all my offers, I have a little button like this that says, need my help? And if they click there, they self-select. They click there, it takes them directly to the application page. They can apply right now. We do get a percentage to do that. The percentage is not huge, but there is a percentage of people who will buy your tripwire thing, they'll register for webinar, and they'll go immediately here. So we don't hide that from them. We let the hyperactives go directly to it, so it's there, okay? Next thing is, again, in the buyer follow-up sequence. So after 6 weeks of the webinar, we start introducing, I start telling stories. I'm not telling my own story, I'm telling Liz's story, I'm telling Drew's, I'm telling Mike's story, and those stories are what drives people to that funnel. Now again, the funnel can either be a result-based one, like these ones right here with Drew and Liz, or it can be a case study. If you don't have good video results, the second best thing to do is a case study. So this is an example one we had back in the day. It was a case study showing a certain type of funnel we made, and so the video shows the case study and gets them to apply to help them to do that. So case study videos work really good as well. Second page in the funnel is a desire amplification page. That's the one here in the middle. And the goal of that page is to get, because you just put in your email address to apply, but you're still kind of on the fence. The second page is to increase the desire. Show them the results of other people. Get them excited. Tell them what's going to happen when they finish out the form. They then fill out the form, and now the last step in this process is homework and connection. They come to the homework and connection page. This is where I try to make a personal connection. I have a video of me telling my story, and I need to build that connection because no one's going to give you $10,000 or $50,000 or $100,000 unless they trust you. and they believe in you. And this is where the process I started doing. So I started trying to build connection with people so that when someone from our team does talk to them on the phone, there's a relationship there. Okay? The sales call that none of my sales guys can close is when the first question is like, hey, what do you know about Russell? And the guy's like, no, I don't know anything. It's not even worth, like, you just hang up really quick because no one's going to buy at that point. Okay, so this video right here is the connection, so they get on like, man, like I trust Russell, like he's like me. If they feel that, they're more likely to invest with you. Okay, after they've got the application, there's the two-step call center script. We don't have time to go over that, but it's in the .com Secrets book, really, really well laid out. That's a two-step call center script we use. After they've registered and before we get on the phone, same thing, we have them go through an indoctrination process. Okay, so they start getting videos here where I'm training them, I'm teaching them, sharing good things, and I'm trying to get them to call me. Okay, we call everyone who applies, but I also would rather have them call me. Okay, we found that people who initiate the call make way more money than when you initiate the call. So every single page is like, give me a call, give me a call, give me a call. So we're always trying to get them to call us. And so these indoctrination pages, I'm sharing good content, trying to get them to call me, and that's kind of what's happening. And that, you guys, is how funnel stacking works. What do you think?